Howdy, Possum Patty here, and it's fall, you all. Well, you finally found or won the Dollar Tree Crafter Square journaling cards. Now what? Well, today I am making the magical never-ending journal card. Now, if you're a card maker, you probably know all about this already, but I am definitely not the card maker. So this is what it looks like, and you can decorate it any way you want. And this was my first one that I made, and I did videotape it, but I made a few mistakes, so I erased all that, and I'm going to make another one with this journaling set. This one was made with the Halloween spooky one, and now I'm going to make one with the fall images. So it's called the Never Ending Journaling Card, and you know us journalers love to steal ideas from you card makers. And it opens in the middle. Now if you actually want to write on it, you can just leave it blank, or you can add images. And if you don't have these journaling cards, you can use stickers or whatever you want. And then you open it up here in the middle, and then you open this up, and then you open this again, and you're back to the beginning. So you can just keep flipping it around and around. So to make it this size, and this is 4 by 8, I did have to use some of the images that are off the cover sheet. So save your cover sheet and cut out some of these little ones. So on the front, I put the big house and the little witch. I took the little witch off the cover, and a little bat. And I went around the edges with some black distressing, because I like the way that the black looked with this yellow and black paper. I put the little kitty and the little pumpkins down below. And I split this picture so that I could open it up. And I also split the broom right there at the kitty's tail, so I can open it up there. But it looks pretty good when you close it. On the first, well, this is the front page, so on the first page, I put the 31 October, and I put a little eyeball there on the O for October. I put a piece of the banner up there. I put a little ghosty there, but that's a fold, so you have to be careful because it's right on the fold. I drew a line, and I put a little purple spider, and I put the spider web. It's underneath. I'll show you that in a minute. And the little spider down here going eek, and you won't know what he's eeking about till you open it up again. And here's Frankie, Frankenstein, and there's a surprise underneath this, and the little purple ghost, Boo, Happy Halloween, and the little witch's legs in the pot. Now some of these you might have to trim a little bit to make it fit. Nothing can be overlapping. Everything has to be separate, and you have to be aware of where the folds are. So when you open this up from the middle, the second time you open it from the middle, you can see Frankie's holding this big skull lollipop, and the spider is saying eek at the snake down at the bottom. And I did split that. And you see the ghost here is on the bend. Now, these die cuts, because this is cardstock, I'm going to call them die cuts, don't bend as easily if you were going to make, like, use a sticker or something. Two big eyeballs at the top. This opens in the middle. Now, you could have put a larger image here and split it in the middle if you wanted to, but I put two separate ones because I like the way they're peeking out from underneath. Okay, then that opens to the back, and I took the large trick-or-treat and I split it where the papers have to fold. And down here I put a picture of my son, just a funny picture. I put the little mummy and I split it on his arm, so he's sort of reaching over into the photograph. I put the little witch's hat on his head, and I put two of the candy corns because it's trick-or-treat. Now this one opens in the middle, so if you put a larger picture, you have to cut it there in the middle. Now some people do this a little bit differently. They make the back side right side up, But if you make the back side right side up, when you get to it this way, it's going to be upside down. Or you can just leave this space blank to do your journaling. So this would be a really nice big space to do the journaling. I just put them upside down like this because I like the way it looks when I open it up this way. I better glue this guy down again, like that. What I did is I took 2 pages from my new pack of paper, and they're very thin, and they're only single-sided, so I took 2 of these, and I glued them together in the size that I wanted, so it looked like this to start with. But I'll go through all the directions in a minute. I just want to show you what it looks like completed. The never-ending, magical journaling card. Or if you're putting photographs, like I did, memory card. And then you just take this and stick it in a pocket in your journal or under a belly band, and you're good to go. So, like I said when I started, I had 2 sets of these Halloween guys here, so I cut one set up, and don't forget to cut the little ones out too, because some of these spaces are small and you want to put some little figures in there. So now I am going to take my autumn decorative cardstock or journaling card, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out these figures. And for some of these things that are very fussy, I am just going to, like the switch, just like a die cut, leave some white around the edge, and then I will probably distress them. But for this, maybe use like an orange or something, fall color, brown or orange or green on these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and then I will show you how you prepare the paper. Just look how cute these are, all cut out. There's a little bear and a little fox and the tractor with the pumpkins. So I cut them all out, and I did leave a little border. Now you don't have to worry too much about getting this border all even, because if you're going to distress them, that'll kind of hide some of that. So I'm going to distress these, and then I am going to make this background paper part. Okay, now we are ready to build the base. And I have 2 pieces of paper. This is craft paper, it's printed on one side. You can use double-sided, or if you're going to use it as a journaling card, you might want to leave one side plain for your journaling. I'm just going to use a lot of images. It is 4 inches wide and 8 inches long, and you need 2 of these. So first thing I'm going to do is take the front piece, okay, and that's going to be the cover, this piece right here. And if you notice, we have to split that in half. So we're going to cut this hot dog style. So if it is 4 inches wide, I'm going to cut it into 2 2-inch strips. Now if you want to make a larger card, like say 5 by 10, then you just take half of whatever you're using. If it's 6, you're going to go to 3. If it's 5, you're going to go to 2.5. So if it's 4 inches, take half, 2. And I'm going to slice and dice this hot dog style. Hot dog style. And this is the front. Now I'm going to take my other piece, which is the back, and if you notice, this one is sliced hamburger style. So if it is 8 inches long, you're going to take half. So mark it at 4, or if you're doing bigger, 10, whatever you're doing, take half. We're just going to cut it in half for the back. So your 2 pieces of paper, you have 1 cut hot dog and 1 cut hamburger. So here's our 2 hot dogs, here's our 2 hamburgers. And that's all the paper you need to make this whole thing. Okay, now we're going to take the front and we need to mark off our glue spaces and our fold spaces. So we're going to come down 2 inches from the top and mark that across. This is going to be a folding line. And we're going to divide this in half. This looks a little crooked. Let me measure this again. It says 2 inches there. And that says 2 inches there. Just off a little tiny bit. Like that. Okay, this is going to be our fold line, and this is going to be our glue line here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to come down 2 inches if you're doing a 4x8. 2 inches. If you're doing anything larger, you need 1/4 the distance. And we're going to divide this in half. So if it's 2 inches wide, we want to go at 1 inch. Okay, and these are our fold lines, and these are our glue spaces. So to fold it, I am going to, if you have a scoreboard, this is easy. If you don't have a scoreboard, use your handy dandy $1 Dollar Tree item and just score it on that line, like so. And down here, like that. And this is going to have to bend forward. Okay, this is going to bend forward. So if I want this to be the front, then I'm going to bend it forward over this way. And the same thing with this one. Okay, get my fancy bone folder. Okay. And it looks like this one went a little crooked. I am really good at crooked. Some people don't believe that, but I am. Okay, if anything's overlapping like this, you know, there's going to be some trimming that has to be done, because when you start working it in all directions, it might need some trimming so it doesn't get stuck on itself, but I'll explain that in a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm going to mark it 2 inches down, fold it, and divide this space in half. Okay, so this is the front, and it is ready. So I'm going to work on the back, which is these 2 pieces right here. Whoops, where are they? Right here. Because these are going to need 1 inch in from each side. So we're going to mark this 1 inch, 1 inch in, and 1 inch in. the same thing on this side. The cat is banging on the door. Can you hear that? The precision is important because you have to finagle this thing to move. But if you get any overlapping parts, it's really not a problem. You can just trim them. See, those are going to have to be trimmed because they overlap a little bit. But we'll get to that shortly. Okay, so we have 1 inch, 1 inch, scored, folded. If you have a scoreboard, you're golden. Okay, now, doesn't matter which side is the bottom, does it? I'm going to come in 1 inch. Nope, we're going to come in 2 inches. Two inches. And what I'm doing is making a little glue area that matches this area right here. So it's got to be the same size as this and this. So this is where our glue is going here. And this is, let's see, how do I want this to look? I want those things at the bottom. So my glue is going here and here, so they match. And it's going to be going here and here. And so now I have to do the bottom. So this is the bottom. So this is going to be my glue area here and here and here and there. All right, this is all we need. Oh, look, I bended that one that way and this one this way. Okay, no problem. Now, if you use regular glue, you're really going to have to let this dry before you go any further. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape to move things along. And where I put those X's, I'm going to put some double-sided tape and not up to the edge. Leave a little space so you're not messing with the part that has to fold and bend and move. And I think I must have got my fingers all over this one for sure. Oops. Oh well. Ah. A lot of oops going on today. A lot of oops. Oh boy, what not to do when you're filming, right? Come in just a little bit from my line. Like so. And I got a blank space down here. Okay. Whew. Wow, what a project. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put tape in all 4 spots that I marked with the X for the bottom and the 4 for the top. All right, I have my 2 hot dogs and my 2 hamburgers. I've marked off a 1 by 2 and a 1 by 2 and a 1 by 2 and a 1 by 2 up there at the top and at the bottom. And notice we're using the outside boxes of the hamburger and the inside boxes of the hot dogs to glue these down. So when I glue it down, it's going to be like this. I want that to be the bottom. I want this to be the top. So I'm just going to pull tape off. And I'm new at double-sided tape. Okay, now I want these corners to, whoops, get my head in the camera here, match up as straight as I can. Press those down. Okay, so that's going to open like that. Okay, now I'm going to do that over here. Take the backing off. Oops. Press that down hard enough. There we go. Okay, I want these 2 corners to, am I doing this right? Yeah. Match up. Like that. So that it opens like that. Okay, you might have to burnish this down a little bit so that everything works. Okay. Very good so far. I hope you're following along. This is not too easy. Okay, now I'm going to take my other one and I'm going to do the same thing. This has to go here and this has to go over here. So, burnish this down. I know I'm all fumble fingers, but this is all new to me. If you're still with me here, thank you so much for not giving up on me. Okay, I want this to go this way. Okay, this is going to match up with this corner over here. Put that precisely in the corner. And this one is going to match up with that corner. I hope this is making sense. That has to match up in that corner. So basically you have taken the 4 corners. Okay, burnish this down like that. Okay, now comes the part where you fine-tune your flipping engine here. All right, first of all, are there any places that it gets stuck when you open it this way? And it seems to be moving pretty freely this way. Okay, so fold it back that way. And make sure you can get everything flattened down. Okay, now this has to open from the middle this way. And you see we got a problem here. Okay, first of all, these 2 are overlapping. See, it's overlapping. I mean, it's not really a problem. It just means I can't cut straight. So, you just trim a little tiny bit like that. And now that works fine. Okay, these open from the middle, and they have to go this way. Okay, so let's burnish this down this way. And see, these are sticking a little bit. Oh, it's this, these two here are overlapping on the back. That's the problem. Okay, so this has got to get shaved off a little bit. Bless your soul if you are still here. And that is still overlapping a little bit. See, they're fine that way, but when you turn them this way, they're not so fine, are they? Not so fine. You know what Picasso said? I am constantly doing that which I do not know how to do, in order to learn how to do it. And that is me. In most of my videos, I am just learning to do something. Oh, you almost got it. See, it's getting caught. That little space there. Maybe we'll just give it a little bit of trim this way. I think that little corner right there is getting stuck. Okay. Well, I think that's working now. See how freely it moves? Okay, now we're back at the beginning. Wow. Mamma mia. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Okay, the hardest part was figuring out where you glue. So where you're gluing so that you have your front this way and your back that way is up in this corner, up in this corner, down in that corner, and down in that corner. And just put some X's on them so when you go to glue it down, you actually know what you're doing, and then it's no problem. Now, the mistake I made on this one is I made too many folds. I folded it here and a couple other places that I really shouldn't have folded it. So, this one I did correct folding and correct gluing. So now all I have to do is pick out images and be mindful of the folds. Like I have that little ghost right on the fold there, and he's not sticking very good. So where you have these folds, you might want to put an image above it and the other one below, and one down here and one above. So there is room to put a big image right here. Okay, I finished the front. I like how it came out. On the Halloween one, I put the haunted house. So on the fall one, I decided to put the barn on the front, like you open the barn doors, right? I put the sunflowers, and I trimmed the fall letters, put at the top, put some apples and a leaf at the bottom. Remember, you can't go over these fold lines here. Keep that in mind. And if you put a big picture in the middle, you're going to have to split it, so the barn works perfectly there. I used a glue stick to glue these down. And now I'm going to open it up like this. Oh, here comes Kitty again. So I've got a pretty big space here and here, and I've got a little space there, a long space there, and a little space there. And you could be mindful of what you put here, because the next flip is like this. Oh, here goes my clock. It is the Blue Jay clock. And this is still catching just a little bit here. Okay, for the top, I put the word fall, the banner. I did trim off the white spaces, so now it fits nicely. I put the barn door and the 2 sunflowers, and you know, have the haunted house on this one, and it opens up like that. So I thought the barn would look really nice on the front, because then you open up the barn doors. I have some apples that I'm trying to glue down here. I'm using glue stick on these. Okay, then that opens like that. So you have a pretty large space here and here. 2 little ones, 2 long ones, and 2 little ones. But these, if you're mindful of that, when you open it up to the next level, these are larger. So you could put larger images here and they will just peek out. I get back there now. They'll peek out behind this thing here. So like you could put the little birdie there, and the birdie would be peeking out like that. When you open it up, you'll see the rest of the bird. And you can put some little images. You know, if you put a leaf, the leaf can poke out a little bit. This one says hello. Also, you can put a larger one, but you have to split it. So I'm going to finagle my images for this second fold. Okay, I put all my little die cuts on my never-ending card. So let me show it to you. Of course, I showed you the front, so you open the barn doors. And there's my owl, and it says, "Enjoy the colors of autumn." I have some leaves around the edge. When you flip it from the middle, there's a little squirrel with his acorn. I had to cut this tree image to fit it on. I cut the flower and put it at the top, and I cut the acorn to put it at the bottom. And the glue is still sticky. I'll have to get that off. And then you open it up like this, and I put a picture. There's actually a date stamp on here, September 1987. My son and I, 1987. I put hello autumn, and some leaves, and I sort of made like a triptych out of the photograph. I cut the middle, and then I took the 2 ends and put a little split because that's where it folds. I had to cut the banner, and I cut this large leaf there so that it will fold up like that. And I had to do the same thing with the bear. I just wanted this bear on here. Well, I put some ink, and look, it ran on his paw. I had to split this paw and this paw because they're on the fold. And then he was very close in color to the background, so I put some ink around the edge. And I must have not let it dry when I closed it up. It kind of went on there, but that's okay. It's a junk journal. I have some leaves and some berries down there. Now, some people, when they do the back, they put it so that the back is all right side up. But you can do it any way you want. The way I did it was I did this first, and then I opened it up, and I did these 2, and then I went like this. Whoops, I'm sorry. I did these 2 and the corners. And I saved the size because you can see more of it when you open it this way. I made the little scene with the squirrel and the trees and some more leaves. And then I split these. And then when I opened it, see, now these are both right side up. If you put them right side up over here, when you open it this way, they will be upside down. So I like it this way. But you can do it any way you want. And you don't have to fill pictures on all the spaces. You could just leave these spaces for journaling. You don't have to use your Dollar Tree die cuts. You can use your own die cuts, your own stickers, anything you would like to do. The most important thing is to get the 4 corners glued down front and back, and to fold it in the right places. And then you're good to go. Well, finally, this is it. I really need to end this video. I've been working on this project for 2 days. First learning how to make it. I made my mock-up, which I thought was correct, but turned out not to be because I used that to make this. And I have 3 extra folds in here. One there, one there, one there, one there. That's 4, I guess. And I took what I learned on this one to make the final product today. And I'm happy with this one. Works really well. The images are really cute. Just to show you what you can make with your Dollar Tree die cuts, journaling cards, but I turned them into die cuts. And I got lots and lots and lots left over for fall. I've got lots and lots of Halloween left over. And so I'll be using these for in my journal or on ATCs or something like that. Put those away for now. And if you made it all the way through this bumbling mess of a video, I just want to thank you for supporting me while I was trying to learn how to make these. And everybody, happy junk journaling. Bye-bye.